What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I am Sid the Nerdy Mark, and welcome to my NXT and 205 Live reviews. So, these reviews are going to work very similarly to my Raw and SmackDown reviews, except since both Raw and SmackDown are much longer shows than NXT and 205 Live, this obviously won't take nearly as long. This might be the longest video that I do for NXT and 205 Live just because I'm kind of explaining it a little bit more. But yes, we are going to run down the entire show, what happened in as much detail as possible. But in the end, instead of talking about highlights of the show, I'm just going to talk about a match of the night or segment of the night, either one, depending on what caught my attention the most in both shows. At the end, I'm going to say on NXT, I liked this match or this segment, and on 205 Live, I like this match / this segment. And it also doesn't hurt that 205 Live has moved down to Wednesday, so first of all, shorter title for the video, and kind of convenient for me. And this was totally not a coincidence, I promise, but I think that was pretty cool. I'm glad that we've kind of made the change now. But yeah, I'm excited to dive right in to our WWE Network shows, starting with NXT. So we kicked off NXT with Dakota Kai, captain of Team Kick. See what I did there? Tag teaming with Deonna Purrazzo, Mae Young Classic contestant, and of course also the villain Marty Scurll's girlfriend. Too sweet, whoop whoop. They were taking on Lacey Evans, the lady of NXT, and Aaliyah. I don't know if she's a cat or something. I don't know what she is. They did have a tag team match. Pretty decent all around. I didn't really think anything amazing of it, but I really do like Lacey Evans a lot. Matter of fact, I want to see her in a match with Charlotte Flair. That would be pretty cool. I really enjoyed this match. It was fun stuff all around. Match ended, of course, with a really cool sequence. Dakota Kai hitting her finisher onto Aaliyah, even though Lacey Evans had tagged in previously. Dakota didn't see that, so she tried to pin Aaliyah, but of course Lacey came in, hit the women's right onto Dakota Kai to pick up the victory for the heels. Aaliyah turned heel, which was pretty interesting. Actually, I did not watch last week's NXT, so I didn't really know. But, you know, now that I'm doing these videos, I'll be back to watching them regularly. But anyway, interesting match. I don't know what to say. I liked it. It was good stuff, but let's move on. We then got Jackson Ryker in singles action. He's, of course, part of the Forgotten Sons, which is a brand new group. And this was a good match. He took on Humberto Carrillo, the newcomer to NXT. Pretty much a squash match. I loved one spot where Ryker basically hit an uppercut out of the air and basically defeated Humberto Carrillo. Pretty decent match. It was pretty much a squash. I like the way they're building up the Forgotten Sons. They're kind of like almost like a replacement to Sanity. And so that's pretty cool. I kind of like this. I'm interested to see where the Forgotten Sons go from here. I'm sure it's going to be eventually for the NXT tag team titles, but only time will tell. So the investigation of who attacked Aleister Black is going on, and might I say, they're doing a really good job of actually extending the storyline, even though it was pretty much kind of just to write off Aleister Black. But I like the fact that they're kind of really expanding on it and really giving us something interesting to look forward to every single week. Instead of just on the main roster, when if someone's injured and they need to be written off, they'll just get beaten up and boom, they're gone for 6 or 7 months or whatever. But I like that they're taking this injury and turning it into a storyline. That's pretty interesting. See, another reason why NXT is better than the main roster. We do get William Regal interviewing Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano's wife. She, of course, blames Tommaso Ciampa, who they, of course, say that he didn't attack Aleister Black. They, of course, ask about Johnny Gargano, and she said that they both left together, so it couldn't have been Johnny wrestling. A bunch of other reporters interviewed the Velveteen Dream after his victory against EC3 at TakeOver, and he, of course, denied anything and pretty much stormed out because they weren't asking about the Dream. We had, of course, EC3 in an interview later on. He blamed Lars Sullivan, and then, of course, he was attacked by Lars Sullivan after the fact, and Sullivan does return next week back to in-ring action, so I'm excited for that. It is time for our main event. Ricochet, the North American champion, versus Pete Dunne, the UK champion. And this is a winner-take-all champion versus champion match. And my goodness, what a match. What a spectacle, what a marvel. And I'm not talking about the comic book. Sorry, Daredevil. This was fantastic stuff. This is exactly what I wanted to see from both these guys. This is just good stuff all around. I don't know how much I can talk about how good it was. I highly suggest you watch this match. Any of my subscribers who are not watching NXT, just watch this match because this was good stuff. This is how wrestling should be. However, the match did end when both men are on the ground and, they're both kind of, laid out. The Undisputed Era come out and attack both Dunne and Ricochet. So the match, of course, ends in a no contest. Then they, of course, hightail it out of there when the War Raiders come to basically defend their honorary member Ricochet. So that was pretty cool stuff. So continuing that feud between the Undisputed Era and the War Raiders. So that should be pretty cool. I'm excited to see the next takeover when finally we get War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. And of course NXT did end with Ricochet and Dunne kind of staring down each other with a show of respect. That was really good stuff. What a match. I really enjoyed it. But with that, let's move on to 205 Live. 205 began its first Wednesday episode with a hype package highlighting the feud between the Cruiserweight champion Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak. Gulak has formed an alliance with Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick, so that was good stuff. I liked it. They're going to have a match later on, and we'll talk about that once we get there. However, we start proper with TJP and Lince Dorado in a pretty decent match. Traditional cruiserweight stuff here. Nothing to write home about, of course. It was good, but of course the match ended when TJP did get desperate and removed Lince Dorado's mask, who basically could not defend himself because he was covering his face, as of course the Lucha mask is a traditional thing and it should be honored and should be treated with respect. So with that in mind, of course, since he couldn't defend himself, TJP pinned Lince Dorado for the win, so that was cool. Good match here. I enjoyed it. It was good stuff. Next up, we did get a segment between Drake Maverick, the 205 Live general manager, and the man of the hour, Lio Rush. Both men, of course, have commitments with the Authors of Pain and Bobby Lashley, respectively. And I'm interested to see if maybe on Raw, if they ever cross paths. That would be pretty cool. I'd like to see that. Lio Rush does complain to Drake Maverick, saying that because of his commitments on Raw, he won't be able to face Noam Dar this week. They have a good promo. Of course, Rush does say that Maverick is jealous of him or something like that. But Drake Maverick says, listen, if you don't fulfill your commitments to 205 Live, there will be consequences. So next week, you will face Noam Dar. So I'm excited to see this match between Man of the Hour and the Scottish Supernova. And before we get into the main event, we do have one more segment. We have Mustafa Ali meeting up with Drake Maverick. Mustafa Ali wants a rematch with Hideo Itami because of course, what he did to him, and he put him out of commission for 30 days. Drake Maverick at first is reluctant, but then he finally agrees. So we're getting that match as well next week. I'm looking forward to it. And now, our main event. Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander, the Cruiserweight Champion, for, of course, the Cruiserweight title, in what I can only say was a clinic of a match. Both these men did amazing stuff in the ring. They have very good in-ring chemistry. Drew Gulak showing his more technical side. Cedric Alexander going all out with his, high-flying moves. There's even a point where Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher try to get involved. They get ejected from the ring. There's also a spot where Drew Gulak is inside and Cedric Alexander is outside, but Cedric Alexander hits like a suplex and flips, and then hits another suplex on the mat. That looked amazing. There was even a point where Drew Gulak got desperate. Despite his whole no-fly zone thing, he went up high, hit a high-fly move, so that was good stuff. But the match ended with Cedric Alexander hitting a lumbar check on to Drew Gulak to retain his championship. So now he will go to the Super Showdown to face off against Buddy Murphy. So that should be a really good match. And now I kind of actually regret all the things I said about the Australia show. So I thought both shows had a really good main event this week. I thought NXT's champion versus champion match and, of course, the Cruiserweight title match on 205 Live were the highlight of both shows. On NXT, Pete Dunne and Ricochet really just the tension between the two and the visceral emotions just emanating off of both of them were just a stuff of legends, really. These two just really did a great job. Again, I can't emphasize enough how much I love this match. You need to go check it out if you are a fan of wrestling. If you consider yourself a fan of pro wrestling, go watch that match. Also, go watch Gulak versus Cedric Alexander because there was a lot of good stuff. I think both matches were very, very similar just because you had basically two high flyers and two technical wrestlers. So you had a pretty similar match between the two, but of course how both matches played out were very, very different. Basically similar formula, but just completely different execution. But both of these matches, Dunne versus Ricochet and Gulak versus Alexander, watch both of them if you haven't yet. But these were, of course, my matches of the night for both these shows. So that pretty much concludes my first ever NXT and 205 Live review on this channel. Let me know what you guys thought about this review and what did you think about both shows in the comment section below. Let me know both those things because I would love to hear from you guys. Maybe you can give me some suggestions. What can I improve? What did you like? All that good stuff. I'd really love to know. So let me know all those things in the comments below. But of course, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. As always, you guys are the best. And until next time, this is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.